Hello, everybody. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to another edition of the Culips English Podcast live stream. So it's great to be back here with you again. My name is Andrew, and I'm hosting alone tonight. Usually I have my trusty sidekick, Cassie, but over the last couple of months, we've had a few problems with her internet connection, so we decided just to go solo for tonight until we can figure that out. But I've got a special guest who will be joining me a little later on, and I'll talk all about that in just a moment. But guys, before we get into it, I just have to ask you if you can hear me and see me correctly, if everything sounds okay and looks okay. Please let me know in the comments. That will put my mind at ease, and then I don't have to worry about any technical things, and we can get started tonight. So please let me know. And while you're doing that, I'm going to quickly adjust the volume on my headphones. Actually, I apologize that I'm appearing so big on the video. I had a technical issue with my camera, and I had to change the lens right before we went live here. And this new lens that I'm using is really, really zoomed in. It seems like my face is really, really big on the camera, and I wish I could. Maybe I can move back a little bit with the microphone. Maybe that is better. Yeah, maybe that's better. I'll hold the microphone on my chair here, and then I'm not so zoomed in on the camera. Unfortunately, the little room that I use here in my home as an office and as the quote-unquote Culips recording studio, fortunately, this room is really small, and that means that it's really hard to get some distance between where I sit on my desk and where the camera is. So I'm really pretty close to my camera, and it's super zoomed in, but it's a little bit better if I sit back like this. All right. So I can see we have some members here in the chat. Let's just take a minute to say hello to everybody. We have Ahmed joining us. Ahmed, welcome. I don't know if I recognize your name from previous live streams, Ahmed. So if this is your first one, welcome. It is fantastic to have you here with us. I'm curious where you're from. Maybe you could let me know. And we have Zero from Macau. Hello, Zero. Welcome back. It's great to have you here again for another live stream. Zero, if I recall correctly, last time we did a live stream, you told me about a couple of films you watched, including a David Bowie documentary. And I'm pretty sure that was you, if I remember correctly. And I actually tried to find that David Bowie documentary. What was it called? Moon Age Daydream, I believe. I tried to find it and watch it because I'm a David Bowie fan. I wanted to watch that movie after you told me about it, but I couldn't find anywhere to watch it. It wasn't in any of the theaters here in Seoul, and it also wasn't available online anywhere to stream. So I'm curious, how did you find that film? How did you watch it? Let's see. We have Daniela here as well. Daniela says, hello, everyone. Good morning from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Good morning, Daniela. Thank you for waking up quite early to watch this stream. No, what time is it exactly in Brazil right now? And we have Heisuk. Hello, Heisuk. Welcome to the stream. I recognize your name from before as well, so it's wonderful to have you back again with us. And Atsuko is here. Atsuko is always so kind in the comments. Thank you, Atsuko. You look great and sound cool too. Okay, fantastic. That makes me feel good. Look great and sound cool. Can't get much better than that. We have Kareem from Egypt. Hello, Kareem. Welcome to the live stream. It's great to have you here with us. Thank you for your comment. Wow, amazing. Ahmad is from Tanzania in Africa. Wow, so we have an Egyptian, which is Northern Africa, and then Tanzania. Got a couple of African people from the African continent watching tonight. That's cool. Wow, we have lots of people here, lots of familiar faces. Well, I don't know. Can I say that? That's not really uh, suitable for this situation because I'm not actually seeing you guys and seeing your faces, but we have that expression in English, a familiar face, somebody that you recognize or somebody that you know. So I can recognize your names. I could maybe say that is more accurate. Lots of familiar names in the live stream tonight. So Ivy is here from Vietnam. Hello, Ivy. Welcome. And we have Pepe. Pepe, hello, everybody. Hi, Pepe. Thank you for joining us. Mina is here. Mina says, hi. Great to see you again, Andrew. Mina, welcome back to the live stream. It's nice to have you here with us as well. Oh, I love this. Another first timer in the live stream. This is great. It's my first live stream. Greeting from Chile. Okay. Maribel. Maribel, welcome. Awesome to have you here with us. Very nice. Aha. Okay, Zero. So you had this kind of special place where you could go and see the film. I'm jealous. I watched it at one small screen theater in Macau. It screens movies that are not mainstream movies. So that's a great vocabulary choice that you just used there. Mainstream means very popular or movies that everybody watches and that you can see in every theater. Think of maybe a Disney movie or a Marvel movie. When these movies are released, they're shown all around the world. They're very popular. And that kind of movie we call a mainstream movie. The opposite of that is an indie movie or an independent movie. And those are the kinds that are harder to find. And I'm guessing this documentary that Zero and I are talking about is an independent film or maybe something that's not mainstream for sure. And we have one more comment here that I didn't mention. Franz from Germany. Wow. Hi, Franz. So this is great. We really have a very, very global audience tonight from Europe, from South America, from Africa, and from Asia as well. Whoops, there goes my microphone. At least I am in Asia, and I think a couple of you guys are as well. So very, very global tonight. I love it. I think, unfortunately, one of the time zones that this live stream is not very good for is for people on the west coast of North America. So actually my hometown in Canada, maybe it is very early in the morning there and probably hard for viewers from North America to get up and watch it. But yeah, we had, who is from Chile? Maribel. Maribel, that is on the west coast of South America. I'm curious, what time is it where you are? Maybe it's very early in the morning for you. All right, everybody, I want to introduce the plan for today. Of course, I have a plan for this live stream, and I want to share it with you. So here you can see up in the corner the plan for this live stream. I'm going to spend just the first 10, 15, 20 minutes or so catching up and chatting with you about what's new with you, what's going on in your life, and I'll do the same and talk about me, what's going on in my life, just for a few moments. And then we're going to have a very special guest join us on the podcast tonight. I'm very excited. I think, if I recall correctly, this is the first time we've ever had a special guest on the live stream. So, well, No, I'm not going to keep it a surprise. I'll just tell you right now. Our guest on the live stream, her name is Alina, and she is one of our new study guide writers. So, about 2 months ago or so, we actually added a team of 3 new writers to Culips, and they have been fantastic. Their names are Alina and Indiana and Austin. So, 3 new writers, and I asked them if they would join me on the live stream, and they all agreed. And so, I think over the next few live streams, we're going to have them one by one come on and spend some time chatting with me, talking about their lives, and getting to know you guys. And so I think it's very important and very cool that you can get to know some of the staff that are very, very important to what we do here at Culips, but aren't as visible. And sometimes they're behind the scenes, they're working hard, but you don't get to hear from them or see them. So I want to change that, and we're going to do that in this live stream with Alina. So I'm looking forward to that, and she'll be calling in actually pretty soon, maybe in about 10 minutes or so. She's got a very interesting story. I think you guys are going to really enjoy her. Maribel said, it's 7:30 a.m. here. Okay, not so bad. 7:30 a.m. is doable. I was thinking it's like 2 or 3 a.m., but no, 7:30 a.m. is okay. And what else was I going to tell you about Alina? Oh, yeah. So we'll get into this when I talk with her, I'm sure. But Alina is one of the first non-native English speakers that we've added to our team. So this is really cool, I think. She's from Russia, and her native language is Russian, but she speaks English to a very, very high level. She's a great English speaker, and she's an English teacher as well. And we thought that it would be very, very useful for us to add a non-native English-speaking teacher to our team. And of course, it's great to have a full perspective when we're teaching English, right? We really wanted to add somebody to our team that had the mindset and the perspective of an English learner. So as an English native speaker, of course, I try my best to teach English, but I haven't learned English the same way that you guys are doing it. I study Korean, and I'm learning Korean, and I have that experience of knowing what it's like to study and learn a foreign language, especially as an adult. I started learning Korean in my 20s, so I wasn't gifted or blessed with that opportunity to start learning a second language when I was young. So I know what it's like to learn a second language, but learning Korean and learning English are very different. And I just don't know what it's like to learn English. So this is why I wanted to add someone to our team that has that perspective. And I think together, non-native English speaking teacher and an English speaking teacher, we can do really the best job possible at teaching English in the proper way. So it's really exciting to add Alina to our team and to have this new kind of perspective and this new ability to approach teaching English and making awesome English lessons from this new perspective. So I'm excited about that. And yeah, when Alina comes on here in just a few minutes, we'll get into everything. All right. While we're waiting for Alina to call in, I have a question for you. And the question is this one up here. I don't know if you're a sports fan or not, but if you are a sports fan like me, then maybe this question is interesting to you. The question is, how much of a big deal is the World Cup where you live? How much of a big deal is the World Cup where you live? So this question, let's break it down because it's a little bit difficult. How much of a big deal is something means, is it important? So is the World Cup important where you live? Are, your friends and family tuning in and watching the games? Are people talking about it, like at your office or at your school? Is it a big deal? Is it important where you live? Here in South Korea, where I live, I think the World Cup is a very big deal. It's something that many people are talking about. People are waking up early in the morning to watch the games or staying up until very late at night to watch the games. Unfortunately, this morning, early in the morning, South Korea was eliminated from the World Cup by Brazil. Brazil is a very strong, very powerful team, and they eliminated South Korea. But it's still a very big deal here in the country. So I'm curious because this is like a global event, right? The World Cup. So I'm curious what it's like where you live. Let me know in the comments. And by the way, as I was talking there, I realized I forgot to say the third thing we're going to do for this live stream is to have a Q&A. So of course, at any time, guys, I love it when you participate. If you want to add comments or ask questions, please feel free to do that. And we're even going to try, and I think we can do it. We can open the live stream to anybody who wants to call in. So later on, if you have a question for me or Alina after you hear from her, if you would like to call in and chat with the both of us, then that would be awesome. And we're going to try and do that. We've done it before. We've opened the line to some members and had you guys call in, and it was super fun to talk with you. So we'll see if we can get it going again today. All right. We got some great comments here. This comment is a little too big, blocking everything. Let's put it up there. Let's take this down. That one. We'll put the comment up there. Can you guys all see that comment? There. That looks good. Okay. Maribel says, I think it's a very important thing here, but since we are not participating this year, it has been less important this year. Yeah, in Chile. So I guess Chile didn't participate in the World Cup this year. It's hard to get into it when it's not your home country, right? Canada participated in the World Cup this year for the first time since 1986. And in 1986, I was 2 years old. So really, this is like the first time in my life that Canada has participated in the World Cup. Unfortunately, they were eliminated almost right away. So they didn't go very far, but it was super awesome to see them at least make it into the World Cup. Okay, guys, I heard a little jingle in my headphones here, which means Alina is calling in. So I'm going to see here if I can bring her on. So I believe that Alina is with us now, and I'm just going to get my settings right, and I think let's try it. Let's see if I can get Alina. Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can, and I'm just gonna bring you onto the stream here, Alina. Just a moment. There we are. I think you're live, Alina. Hello.
Hi. I don't know what it is, but the sound, for some reason, like you sound very robotic. I don't know what it is.
Mm,
Has it
I,
happened before?
it has happened before. Is it a little bit better now, or is it still the same?
I mean, it's hard to explain. I mean, I can kind of understand what you're saying, but it just hurts a little bit.
Oh no.
I'm just
It's
gonna turn the
probably a
volume.
connection thing. Maybe our connection is not so great. I mean, your vid.
I was just watching, the stream. It was just fine. The sound was great. Everything was perfect before I joined. I mean,
Okay. Do you think it's something that you can battle through and deal with, or is it too difficult to
we could
converse?
try. I think.
Okay, let me check. I don't think there's anything I can do, unfortunately, to change it. I think we're just gonna have to try our best. You sound great in my headphones, but it's just my voice to you sounds not so good.
Okay, well, if I sound good, that's yeah, at least at
Viewers,
least one of us is going to enjoy this conversation.
okay, well, Alina, maybe because of this, I'll keep you just for a short time. Maybe I'll just ask you a few questions and I'll let you do more of the talking and I'll be quiet so you don't have to deal with my robotic voice.
We could do that, all right?
Um, okay, well, first of all, Alina, welcome to the stream. Could you introduce yourself to our members here who are watching?
Hmm. Okay, I don't know, around like about a half of that towards the end was just a loud noise. I'm trying to read your lips, but yeah, I heard the first half, so thank you. I'm really happy to be here. I'm happy to be joining you today. And I heard that it's the first time, so yeah, it really feels very special, to be honest. It's an honor. And yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. Oh, Alina, I'm so sorry that the audio is not working. Um,
I mean, it's working. It
it's
just
working.
could be better, I suppose. Maybe it's my earphones or something. I don't really know exactly. Maybe
Cassie
it's
had this
the.
issue before as well. It might be with the
I've
software
never
that
had
we use.
anything like this before, to be honest. I
Hmm.
mean, now I just wonder if I tried to do that without my earphones.
Do you want to
I
try
don't know if
quickly
this
and
would
see?
affect, the way you can hear me, but you should try.
Okay, let's try it. Now the only problem is I totally lost you. Okay. Oh no, we lost Alina's audio, I think completely. Alina, maybe.
Okay,
Oh no, you're
so,
back. You're back.
but it's still the same. I guess, yeah, I mean, we have no other choice.
All right.
Uh,
Let's try
Technical
and battle through
problem.
for a few moments. Alina,
Let's
could you
just
tell
take it.
us about yourself? Who are you? What do you do?
Yeah,
Where do you
sure.
live? That kind of thing.
Honestly, I kind of wish you had subtitles, because that would be handy. But yeah, I figure you would like me to tell a little bit about myself that I can do. So, I feel like I have to tell you guys a little bit, all of you joining us today, that I grew up in a very small town in the far east of Russia. So, yeah, it's actually around the same time zone where you live now, Andrew.
Hmm.
More or less the same time difference. So, yeah, growing up in a small town, and learning English, I never really thought, I would need English in my life ever, being like so remote from any kind of English speaking countries. I never really saw any point. So it was just like another subject, I had to, yeah, study. But when I moved to St. Petersburg, all of a sudden I kind of, yeah, I was very close to all of these countries. And that's when I thought, okay, I might need English after all. I might have to learn it. So, yeah, and I was struggling at first, I'll be honest. Learning English wasn't easy, even though I spent like 10 years in school learning it, apparently. But yeah, I wasn't really speaking so well. I had some, random knowledge, grammar knowledge. But yeah, I guess it all changed, in the sorry, in the university. I had a
Hmm.
very good teacher. She really helped me, to kind of get the system and the structure. And she was also the person who inspired me to become a teacher, actually, as
Hmm.
well
Hmm.
as, yeah, helped me with my English. So yeah, I actually, as for teaching, I started tutoring, I guess in my first year of university, because, just to make some money. And yeah, throughout the years, I was kind of learning how to teach. And yeah, I at some point I realized that I need to work on my speaking skills. That's when I decided to try language exchange, both, online and like in real life, because we had a lot of exchange students at my university. So this is actually how I met my husband. It's kind of a good story, I guess. He was originally my language exchange partner,
Wow.
and yeah, he was actually, I think, the first native speaker I ever communicated with in my life, I
Really?
think, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Yeah.
Well, that's amazing.
It's kind of a romantic story. So, yeah, I also got interested kind of more superficially, in some other languages along the way as I was doing all these language exchanges. It
Hmm.
was a Swedish, um, Italian. Italian now is the language that I ended up actually learning to more or less decent level.
Okay.
I even spent some time teaching it as well. But yeah, I was working on my English and I was teaching English at the time already. And for the past 3 years, I think I've been teaching online. And before that, I tried all sorts of, all formats. I taught different ages,
Hmm.
different levels,
Hmm.
and different languages as well. I tried teaching Russian.
Uh-huh.
That no didn't really work
Okay.
so well for me. So yeah, I guess that's it. That's the story.
Wow, awesome, Alina. Oh, I have that's such a remarkable story that the first English native speaker you spoke to at a language exchange ended up becoming your husband.
Yeah, it was a fluke, happy accident.
Happy accident. That's amazing. So he was learning Russian and you were learning English and you
He
just
was, yeah, and we kind of found each other,
hmm.
yeah, and ended up chatting. And then he came to Russia. This is how we met in person. And then I
Oh,
went to Ireland, and we kind of stayed in touch
wow.
throughout these years.
Amazing. Wow, that's a very cute story. Thank you for sharing. And Alina, I
Thank
realized that actually I prepared a couple of questions for you and I wrote them all down so I can share them on the screen. Even if you can't
Oh,
hear
that
me,
would be just wonderful.
it's like a
That would be
subtitle.
great.
So let me go through them. And some of them you talked about already.
Uh-huh.
Okay. What about this one? So you said you can speak
Hmm.
Russian. Russian is your native language,
Well, yes,
and
Russian is my
then
native language.
English,
I can speak English
Italian.
and Italian, which I basically kind of learned all by myself by just exposing myself to all sorts of materials
Hmm.
and, Italian people
Uh huh.
as well, of course. And I spent some time in Italy, and, you can't just live in Italy and, not pick up some Italian words along the way. So yeah, I guess three languages, right?
Three
I
languages.
mean, some very basics, the very basics of another maybe four languages, but
Mm.
I wouldn't survive if I had to
Mm.
communicate.
Okay, awesome. That's amazing. And the other question I have, again, you kind of talked about all of these. You read my mind. I don't know how you predicted how I was going to ask you all these questions about deciding to teach English. So you were inspired by your university professor?
Yeah, I guess, I actually didn't mention that, but I think I told you before when we first met that I wanted to be a teacher actually when I was a child. I remember being like 9 years old, and I was just convinced that I'm going to grow up and teach the Russian language.
Mm.
So now the plan, changed a little, but I actually, yeah, but then yes, that teacher that was kind of the, yeah, main inspiration for me. And I learned a lot from her as to how to teach. I remember being like very curious and observing her as a teacher. I don't even know if she knows that really. I should maybe tell her. Like,
It-
thank you very much. You helped me to make this choice
I
of a
think,
career.
yeah, I think a lot of teachers inspire us, but they might not know to the extent that they
Yeah.
inspire us, right? Some of my favorite professors and teachers, I never really talked to them after and been and told them like, you had like a big effect on my life. I never said that to them, so maybe it's the same for many people.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the kind of a nature of the job,
Hmm.
I would like to believe that I maybe inspired somebody as well, you know.
I'm sure you have.
I
I'm sure
guess you
you
would
have.
understand.
Yes. I think that's what our goal is as teachers, right? Is we want to motivate and inspire our students, of course.
True.
Alina, here's a question not really related to English teaching or learning, but just about you. What are some of your hobbies?
Right. Okay. Hobbies. So I love listening to podcasts. I
Mm.
guess that's how I found the Culips podcast one day,
Uh huh.
actually also around 3 years ago.
Okay.
And I listen to a lot of podcasts on a daily basis. It's just something I love, having in the background, and it's good practice as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I like cooking as well, particularly,
Mm.
trying out new things, kind of just like experimenting, seeing what will happen, if you change recipe a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just kind of like languages, learning languages, I would say, is my hobby as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something I've, yeah, been always interested in.
Sure. Awesome.
So
Do you
yeah,
have any favorite podcasts? I know this is putting you on the spot.
sorry, could you just say that again?
Ah,
Because at
do
this
you
very
have
moment, as
a
you were saying,
favorite podcast?
my favorite podcast, Culips is my favorite podcast.
No,
No doubt
aside
about
from
that.
Culips, aside from
Seriously.
Culips.
I'm not just saying that. No, but seriously, I mean, if I had to think about it, now it's like, yeah, the choice is just obvious.
All right. I'll let you off the hook with that answer. Thank you, Alina. Let's see. Because our audio is bad, I'll ask you maybe one more question,
Okay.
and that is about where can we find you on social media? And could you tell us about your like your Instagram account, maybe?
Yeah, I do have an Instagram account. I believe you put the link to it on the Culips Instagram stories. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where you can find me right now, in the next 22 hours, I believe,
Yeah.
as long as
And
the story is up. But yeah, the profile name is English underscore Buddha. And I mean, the name has a story, but it's not very interesting. It's just somebody just called me once, called me an English Buddha. And I was like, that sounds like a good name that, yeah, has a nice ring to it. So I should use it.
nice.
And yeah, I started my page, I think as well, around 3 years ago. Kind of like when I started teaching online, maybe a little bit before that, because I just felt this, urge to share. I just wanted to share with people all I know about English. So yeah, that's how it started. And I'm not a very consistent blogger, I'm afraid. Unfortunately, I wish I could be a little bit better,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I'm trying.
It's hard. It's hard to be consistent. I struggle with the
It
same
is.
thing, but I try my best. And there's lots of good content on your Instagram. So everybody that's watching, viewers, please go. If you're an Instagram user, please go and check out Alina's content. It is really nice.
So anyone has any questions, any of the listeners?
Yeah.
Because I can't see.
Okay. So if anybody has a question for Alina, please ask now. And I think there are. Let me go through the comments here. Here's a comment from Etsuko. She says, "Hi Alina, it's great to meet you here. Maybe you might want to switch off the YouTube channel." So, oh, maybe that's the audio issue. Do you still have the? Are you still watching the stream at all?
No,
No.
no,
Okay.
I mean, I actually I closed that tab,
Close
so
that.
no,
Yeah.
I'm afraid
Afraid
that's
that's
not the
not it.
problem here.
Okay. Well, thank you,
Oh,
Etsuko.
you know what? I just realized that I could actually, yeah, there is this little, yeah, window here. I can see the comments. I can see the comments.
Ah, you can see it now.
People are still talking about the World Cup.
The World Cup. Alina,
Apparently, it's a more
how about
interesting topic.
how about in Russia? Is the World Cup popular in Russia?
I don't know if you know, but we were kind of banned from that, so not that I'm aware of. No,
Mm.
nobody around me really is, like into the whole thing. But I'm sure there's still some people that, are watching just like particularly crazy about football, big
Hmm.
fans
Hmm.
and sport fans. Yeah, but not that like any of my friends would be doing that. And I mean, obviously myself, I wouldn't really be a big sports fan. I like hockey though. I
Oh
kind of
yeah?
prefer hockey. I've
Well,
been to several games here, and Russia is kind of we're big on hockey,
yeah.
a little bit better than football
Uh-huh.
as well. So yeah, hockey now would be my preference.
Oh, all right. Well, we have that in common because I'm also a hockey fan, more so than a football fan. But here in South Korea, people are crazy about soccer or football. So, yeah, it's hard not to get swept away in the enthusiasm for the sport. So, I'm kind of falling in love with football slowly.
Right.
So, I'm sure, guys, I'm sure you have some questions for Alina. Anything you would like to know, please ask a question because it's easier for her to read the comment than to listen to my
I can read
audio.
comments. Yeah, this helps. Honestly, I mean, yeah, we maybe should have kind of like run some kind of a test call or something beforehand. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
So that
Maybe next time we'll do a test. The problem
be a
is,
good idea, just in case, you never know. But I mean, it's still okay. I can, yeah, it's okay. I can hear you. I can guess maybe from the context if some words are not so clear.
I did have
But
another
it's a
question for
bit of
you,
a,
Alina, while we wait for some of our viewers to ask you a
uh
question. It is, I'll put it on the
sure.
screen. How do you celebrate Christmas in
Right.
Russia?
That's a very good question because if I'm honest, um, we don't really celebrate Christmas, the way maybe people celebrate it in other countries.
Hmm.
As in, officially, we have Christmas on the 7th of January, the whole kind of a
Right, right.
religion related thing.
Hmm.
So basically, nothing happens on the 25th of December.
Okay.
People are still working up until like the 30th or the 1st as well, some of the people. But we celebrate New Year now. This is a
Mm,
big deal for us. I think for a lot of people in Russia, it's one of the most important holidays, the New
mm.
Year's. Everybody is looking forward to it. Everybody is counting days. And then the 7th of January, it depends. Maybe some, people who are a little bit more kind of traditional, they would celebrate it, but it wouldn't really be just like maybe a little bit of a dinner, something
Mm,
like that. But
mm,
it's nothing like what it is, say like in English speaking countries or yeah,
mm.
around the
Interesting.
world.
Okay, so not really. Maybe it would be similar in Canada at least. Like Easter is a religious holiday and some people celebrate it, but it's
Hmm.
not like a very popular holiday. Maybe Christmas would be the something similar to that in Russia, I'm thinking. Interesting.
Yeah, probably.
Okay,
I
we
think
have
we finally got
some
some questions.
yeah, we got some questions here. Our stream is on a little bit of a delay, Alina. So by the time when we say something and the time that the viewers actually see it is a little bit of a delay. So sometimes that's why comments come in slowly. Okay, let's see. Galina said, I've already subscribed to Alina. You got a new follower.
Thank you. It's great. Great to hear.
You guys have similar names too. So that's kind of cool.
That's
Galina,
true. That's
Alina.
true.
And Atsuko, see, I'm sorry, this comment is blocking me, but that's okay. The flag behind you reminds me of the episode about pubs. Do you have any culture? Have you? Do you have any culture shock when you landed in Ireland?
Oh gosh, I mean, every day in Ireland was like just a culture shock for me, to be honest. And I mean, I spent almost half a year living in Ireland, and I don't know if I'm ever, because I'm planning on moving there, for good, joining my husband.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't think I was quite able to adjust to life in Ireland just yet. I mean, obviously I will have to somehow,
Mm-hmm.
but everything there is different. I'll be honest, just the way people are, the way people do things and talk. And I'm not just talking about the language. Obviously, there is the language thing as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the main maybe shock was is I don't know, just how friendly everybody is, because
Ah,
it's
okay.
something you would not really, you know, see here. I'm not saying we are not friendly, but we don't really, do it so well. I don't know. As
Okay.
well as the Irish and, strangers would say hi to you and
Uh-huh.
stuff like that. And that was a big shock. And I had to kind of force myself into doing the same thing. And to this day, it still feels like, why am I doing this? I don't know these people. Why am I saying hi? Hello? So strange. Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
But I'm sure, maybe in a couple of years, I will be, totally cool with that, just
Yeah.
like a local.
I guess that's good culture shock, right? Like, probably better to have people who are friendly than people who are mean.
True. But still, I mean, yeah,
S- s-
something to get used to,
Still an adjustment.
something unusual.
I know, for example, here in Korea where I live, um, well, I think maybe Ireland and Canada are similar in that way. Like, people are a little more
Probably.
friendly and outgoing in Canada than they are here in South Korea. So here in Korea, really nobody will ever stop me and say hello or anything like that. And I kind of love it. I kind of love the indifference of this country. It's kind of cool. But it's totally opposite, I
Hmm.
think, in Ireland. All
Somebody's
right.
asking me how old I am.
How old you are? Aha, yes. Kareem has a question.
And
As you seem still young, how old are you? Is that Can we ask
no,
you, do you
first of
feel
all,
comfortable?
thank
You
you
don't
so
have to
much.
answer if you don't want to.
I mean, it's really nice. It's always nice to hear, as you get closer to 30, every time you hear you look young, it's like just the biggest compliment you can get. Especially, when, yeah, they don't ask for your ID anymore
Hmm.
in the shops and all.
Right.
So, yeah, I actually just turned 29 last week, last Tuesday.
Wow, happy
And
birthday.
yeah, thank you. Have I
29.
been to
Alina,
Japan?
you're very young. I'm 38, and actually it's a long story, everybody, but the way that South Korea counts their age is that when you are born, you are 1 year old, and on New Year's Day,
Ah,
you age 1 year. So that means that my Korean age right now is 39, even though I'm
okay.
technically 38. But then on the new year, I will age 1 year and I'll be turning 40 in Korean. So I'm having a little panic attack here because at the end of the month, I'll be 40, even though I'm really 38. So you are talking about inching closer to 30, but I'm worried about inching closer to 40.
I mean, once you turn 40, it's going to be great.
Yeah,
Probably, I guess.
I hope so. I hope so. A question here for you from Mina. Have you ever been to Japan?
It's actually a very good question, and I get that a lot. A lot of people ask me if I have ever been to Japan
Hmm.
because, geographically, where I come from, it's very close.
Hmm.
But just because it's close now, it doesn't mean that it's easy to get to Japan,
Right.
as in, there is a visa requirements and everything.
Hmm.
So no, unfortunately, I have never been to Japan. Now, I would like to go, of course. I would like to visit Japan. It's yeah, an interesting country.
Hmm.
And it's kind of ironic, I lived pretty close to China as well, and
Hmm.
I've never been to China either.
Okay.
I basically just started traveling when I moved to the, European part of the country.
Mm,
So yeah, unfortunately, no, not not to Japan, not yet anyway.
not yet. One day. Okay. Thank you for the question, Mina. Yeah. Even from Korea, where I am, to go to Russia is not that far to like Vladivostok. I think the flight is only maybe 3 or 4 hours. So, uh,
Hmm.
as far as I know, there's a Russian professional hockey team that plays in Vladivostok. So, my dream one day is to go and watch a hockey game. I think that would be a fun activity to do.
Yeah, you should definitely do that. I mean,
Yeah, it's
and yeah, we were thinking about going to Korea, of course, as
mm,
well, because why not?
hmm.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You
Uh,
should definitely. I mean, if you're gonna go all that way to go to Japan, then it would be a mistake, in my opinion, to avoid coming to
yeah,
Korea. You'd have to go to Korea as well.
it would make sense, to combine have a little trip around Asian countries.
For sure, absolutely. Here's a question. Oh yeah, this is something I wanted to talk about, but we didn't talk about really, is about your level of fluency because I think all of our viewers can notice your fluency is very, very high. You speak really, really well, really natural. You're using idioms that are extremely natural, and I think many people could even mistake you for native speaker level. So, uh, how did you learn English? Could you go a little bit more into the details? Like you said, you never
Sure.
even spoke to a native speaker until till you met your husband. So how did you get to be that good, learning just in Russia without contacting English speakers?
Yeah, this is actually basically this was one of the most, the hardest things maybe to kind of create this environment because, as somebody who lived in Russia and we do have, occasionally foreigners visiting our country, but not like, I wasn't really surrounded by foreigners, by, English speakers.
Hmm.
But yeah, at some point, now I never mentioned how, I was just kind of determined at some point of my life. I decided that, okay, I have to, perfect my English at all costs. I just have to do that. I just really felt like I needed that. And I was basically just working very hard and trying to I don't know, just surround myself with English, do things, everyday things, and switch my phone settings and everything,
Hmm.
and talk to people as much as I can and watch whatever I was watching was in English and I was reading in English as well. And I must say that teaching helped a lot, of
Mm,
course. And
mm.
as a teacher, you probably know that sometimes I'm sure even native speakers would discover something, about their own language, native language.
Tons, tons.
And of course, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, teaching, as they say, if you want to learn something really well, it's a good idea to go and try to teach someone that, to kind of, explain the whole thing. And that's a good way to make sure that you understand that. So years of teaching was a big help, all right. But like, just hard work, honestly. And as for how long, no, it depends, of course. It depends on the person. But I would say that when I first met my husband, which was 6 years ago,
Hmm.
I had, a pretty like solid knowledge of grammar, but my speaking skills were just like left much to be desired, I'll be honest. And
Hmm.
I admire his patience because talking to me must have been really, yeah, torture. But the more I practiced, I'll be honest, I could feel I was, the progress was like so obvious, so tangible.
Hmm.
You could say that.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's a good idea actually to track your progress, as in to maybe look back and listen to the way you used to speak, and you will notice the difference immediately.
Hmm.
And yeah, it would be kind of like an extra motivation. You'd be like, oh, okay, so I have improved already. I can do it. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
improve
that's
even more.
something that's like you said, very tangible is if you record yourself speaking English and then you can go back and take a listen to that after a year or two, then you can really notice the differences immediately, and that can be very motivating. And I think that's one of the best ways to see our development in the language, because if we don't do something like that, then it's pretty hard to know if we've improved or not, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, that's a great idea. Is that something that you would do? Would you record yourself or?
Um, I wouldn't say I really did it on purpose, but when I just started to like communicating with people in
Hmm.
English,
Hmm.
I still have some of those, messages, some videos, and I'll be
Mm-hmm.
honest, it's not easy now for me to watch the videos and to listen to the voice messages. It's like,
A
oh my
little
God,
cringy, yeah.
it's totally cringy. It's just, yeah, but I mean, at the same time, I'm like, okay, I'm so much better now, and this is a good thing
Yeah, I feel the same way about
to
listening
realize that.
to old podcasts even. It's cringy.
Oh,
It's just
really?
cringy in general to listen to yourself, I think, no matter what you're doing. Um, but the reason why it's usually cringy is we're like, oh, how was I so bad back then? Right? So it's like if you notice that, then that means that you feel like you've improved now. So overall, I think it's a good thing, even though it's maybe a
Yeah,
little painful to do.
it is.
What about this question? A follow up question from Kareem. What is the most important practice you have done that you feel it made the difference? Made the difference. So, is there
Made the
like,
difference. Mm.
it's hard because it sounds like you were doing so many things in English. You were reading books, watching movies. You sort of were living a full English lifestyle, it seems like. So, it's probably hard to pinpoint one thing. You were saying teaching helps, but maybe that's not a good or not an available option for most people. But
Hmm.
is there something that you said, uh, like maybe language exchange? What was the one element that you think was very important for developing your fluency?
Well, I mean, if I had to choose just one, it wouldn't be easy. It really is a complex, of all of these things. But
Sure, sure.
to be honest, I always say to my students, and it's a very obvious thing, but a lot of people, for some reason, they don't really understand how important it is because everybody wants to learn, to speak English, to be able to communicate, right? Because I mean, it's kind of like the main function, it's a communication tool.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to learn how to speak, you have to speak, right? And a lot of people spend too much time focusing on learning the grammar rules, and kind of working on all sorts of things, but speaking when it's kind of really important. And a lot of people are kind of scared and afraid that, they're not perfect, they're not good enough, and they're not ready. But I believe that speaking is just as grammar, you kind of should, as soon as you start learning any kind of language, really, it's important to start with all of these skills, working on all the skills all together, including speaking, even if it might sound not like the native speakers. It might never really sound like the native speakers, but
Mm-hmm.
that's fine. And that's
Mm-hmm.
not the goal. So just try.
Oh, I think maybe maybe we lost your audio, Alina. Oh, I think we. Hello, can you hear me? Oh, you're back. Hello. Oh, we lost Alina. Okay, maybe she'll call back. Oh, she's calling back already. Let's see. Hi, Alina, are you here?
What just happened?
I'm not sure. Can you hear me okay now? Is the audio any better?
No,
No,
unfortunately it's
no.
that's fine. I'm almost used to it.
Almost used to it.
So I was just saying that,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, speaking, even if you have to speak to yourself, seriously, do that because there is never too much speaking. And of course, it's always good to have some feedback. If you communicate with someone else, they will be able to help you as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, at some point of my life, I spent quite some time talking to myself, just kind of out loud, just for some extra practice.
Awesome. One thing that I've noticed since adopting a dog is that having something to talk to, like my dog, I talk to my dog in Korean all the time. Uh, again, Korean is the language I'm learning. And my dog is deaf, so he can't respond to it. He just ignores everything I say because he can't hear. But it's funny. Like I just talk to the dog in Korean, and it makes it so I'm not like feeling like I'm talking to myself. It's nice to have some
Yeah,
creature to talk
yeah.
to. So, yeah, for that's a little tip for anybody out there who's a pet owner is like talk to your pet in English or in the language you're learning, and maybe it won't feel as awkward as just talking to yourself. But I think that's some great advice, Alina, and it just goes to show too that you can make opportunities to speak English for yourself, even if there aren't English speakers around, or even if you live in a country where English isn't the language that's spoken. So, Yeah, some great
Sure.
advice there.
Yeah.
Well, everyone, I think probably I'm going to let Alina go because of this technical issue. But Alina, you were a wonderful guest, and we'll have to get you back on the live stream here
Thanks.
sometime again in the future when the audio is working. So I'll try and fix the problem for next time, and we'd love to have you back again.
All right. I'll be happy to be back. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Alina. Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye. All right, everybody. That was Alina, and I hope you enjoyed that chat with her. Again, I'm sorry that it was a little bit difficult for us to communicate because of that audio issue. And speaking of audio issues, I have to adjust my microphone here. I was holding it in my arm, but my arm is tired. So I'll put it on my desk. But yeah, she is an amazing part of our study guide writing team. So Alina is helping us writing the study guides, and I think you guys will be hearing a lot more from her in the future as well. So everyone, I am going to just let's see. As I promised that you earlier, I am going to open the phone line to any Culips member who would like to phone in and call in. So if you would like to be a guest, if you would like to call in and join me here, feel free. You can just type in that URL into your web browser and you can call in. And I'm hoping you won't have the same audio issue as Alina had. Hopefully that was just something between the connection that she and I had, and it won't extend to you as well. But if anybody would like to call in and chat for a few moments with me, that would be wonderful, and you can feel free to do that. If not, no pressure. That's fine. Of course, this is just an option. You don't have to, but I'm throwing it out there in case anyone is interested. And while I leave it open here for a moment, we'll just do some catch up with the comments. There's a couple new comments. One from Kareem. Actually, Kareem, I know the answer to this. Even though I'm not Alina, I think I can speak for her and answer this question. So the question is, how did you find the work with the Culips team? Well, simply, Kareem, we put out an advertisement and saying that we were looking for new writers, and we asked anyone who is interested to apply, and we got lots of applications from different teachers from around the world, and Alina was one. And like I said, here at Culips, we were really interested in adding some non-native speaking teachers to our team, especially people like Alina who speak English at a very high level. We just wanted to round out our team, and we thought that adding a teacher like Alina would just make us better. So that's how she found us, through an advertisement. All right, so everyone, we have hit the magic 1 hour mark, which is usually about the time where we wrap things up. I'm gonna keep, since I just opened the, I want to say, the phone line. Like, I'm used to listening to radio shows where they would open the phone line to callers from the public. The public could call in and join the radio host. So in English, we always say open the line or open the phone line. I'm not sure how to say it for a live stream like this, but I've opened the live stream. So I just did that. I'll wait a minute or two here until until a little bit of time has passed. And if anybody calls in, great. If nobody calls in, that's fine. We'll probably wrap up the live stream here in a moment. Oh, I forgot to check out all of your World Cup comments. Let's see some of the World Cup comments. Mina mentioned that She stayed up late and watched the World Cup game. Yeah, Japan played Croatia early this morning. I think most people have an interest in the World Cup, and the World Cup is a big deal in Japan. Yeah, unfortunately, Japan was eliminated as well. Sorry for the loss, Mina. But you had some exciting games, I think. In fact, it seemed like the last game was an exciting game. Zero said, "For me, I'm not really a fan of football, but you need to read some news before you go to work or you'll have nothing to talk about with your colleagues." Yeah, I totally understand. Uh, if I didn't stay on top of the World Cup news at least a little bit, then I think probably I wouldn't have anything to talk about with my students at the university. Heisuk said, "Yeah, that's right. We talked about the World Cup all day long in South Korea." Yeah, definitely it was what I heard people talking about on the street. I heard my colleagues talk about at work. I heard my students talk about at work. Number one topic of conversation, actually, this whole weekend, maybe. Kareem said that the World Cup is a super big deal in Egypt, although we couldn't join this time, but most people here love football, especially the World Cup. Nice. And one comment from Asuko that we didn't mention earlier. Atsuko wrote, "I'm really proud of Japan, the Japanese team. Although they couldn't reach the quarterfinals, they did a great job." Awesome. Yeah, so I'm excited to see who will win. I have a feeling Brazil will win. They just seem too strong, too powerful. I don't think anybody will stop them, but I guess over the next couple of weeks we will find out, and it should be interesting. So let's see. Yes, Suko said thanks for joining us, Alina. Yeah, oh, I feel bad. The audio, I don't know what's going on with. I've got a very good computer, guys. I have a good internet connection, but it seems like the live stream on Culips is cursed to an extent. Every time there's some technical problem. I'm sorry. I don't know exactly what's happening, but we'll get Alina back on in the future when I can communicate with her even better and we have no audio issues. Tsuko says, "Thank you so much for making Culips more diverse." Yeah, that is one of my dreams for Culips is to make it more diverse and to really be able to have a strong team that can teach English uh, as well as possible. So we're trying. Thank you, Etsuko. Kareem says, "I really appreciate what you're doing. Thanks, Andrew." Yeah, thank you, Kareem, for joining us and for that comment. I really appreciate it as well. Ahmed asks the question, "Do you write in the Korean language? Which level can you relate to?" So actually, writing in Korean, it's not like Japanese or Chinese. The Korean writing system is very easy to learn and very easy to read and very easy to write. So absolutely, it is easy to write in Korean. Now, out of the four language skills of reading, speaking, listening, and writing, I would say my writing is the weakest because I don't really write in Korean except to send text messages to my wife and to my friends. So I'm okay at some short, simple text messaging level Korean, but I can't write essays in Korean. So I would say my writing level is fairly low, unfortunately. Something that I would like to do in the future is work on my writing, some journaling, some essay writing. But unfortunately, I just can't fit that into my schedule at the moment. And really, my focus for Korean is conversation, speaking, and listening. But yeah, many people are shocked when they learn how easy the Korean language is for reading and writing. Very, very simple compared to other Asian languages. So I'm very, very thankful for that. Makes my life a lot easier. Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you for joining us. And yeah, I hope that you can join us again in the future. That was great to have you. So, everybody, I think I'm going to wrap the live stream up here. So, that was fantastic. We'll be having another live stream later this month. This is actually the November live stream. Unfortunately, we couldn't squeeze it into the end of November. So, I'm going to push it back here. And we had it in December, but that means we still have to have our December live stream. So, sometime before the new year, we're going to have one more live stream for 2022, and I'll make an announcement and tell you all about that on our website and also on the podcast and also in a newsletter. So I'm sure you'll be able to find out the information about that and hopefully join me next time as well. So thank you, everybody. Take care, and I will see you in the next live stream. Goodbye.